Hello, Mishpacha. It's Courtney, America's Jewish Mother. Welcome back to my channel. I am here today to do my TBR for the month of September. So this is going to be a sort of a bridge TBR. I'm not going to put as many books on my TBR as I normally would because I'm back teaching school. I'm going to get a bunch of papers into grade this month. I'm probably not going to be able to commit myself to more than the 8 books that are on my TBR. So here we go. So the first book that's on my TBR is a carryover from last month, or rather this month, August, which I did not get to. And that's Daniel Silva's Prince of Fire, which is the 5th in his Gabriel Allon series. So I already talked about this in my August TBR, my Light in August TBR video. So I won't sort of belabor that here, but you know, basically it just again follows Gabriel Allon, who is this ex-Israeli Mossad agent who's now an art restorer by trade, but keeps getting sucked back into missions for the office for one reason or another. So that's that one. The next book on my TBR for September is Zora Neale Hurston's Their Eyes Were Watching God. This is going to be a reread for me. I think the last time I read this book was probably for my comprehensive exams in graduate school. So that's been 6 years ago, something like that. And I'm teaching it in my course on the novel, so I'm rereading it for that. This is the story of Janie Crawford. You follow her from her younger days through several relationships in her life. So it's in some ways a coming of age story, but also Janie sort of coming into her own as a woman and her own sense of identity. So yeah, so that's Zora Neale Hurston, Their Eyes Were Watching God, a classic of African American literature. I believe this was originally published in 1937. Yep, I was right. Go me. The next book on my TBR is Born to Kvetch by Michael Wex. This is about Yiddish, and I'm super excited about this one because it's one of the books that's on my, physical TBR of I own this and I need to read it to reduce my overall physical TBR, and I am so close. I am 4 books away. Yeah, 4 books away from being under 100, which was my goal for the year, to get my physical TBR under 100. So I'm super excited. And this just sounds fun. It's been a really long time since I've read anything about Yiddish. In case you don't know what Yiddish is for some reason, it was this, I guess some people still speak it, but very, very few nowadays. But around the turn of the 20th century, it was primarily spoken by Jewish immigrants from Eastern Europe to the United States, and basically it's mostly German written with Hebrew letters, with some borrowed words from other Slavic languages thrown in here and there. So this just says that the author takes a serious yet unceasingly fun and funny look at this remarkable language that has both shaped and has been shaped by those who speak it. So I'm very excited to read this. The next book on my September TBR is Viet Thanh Nguyen's collection of short stories, The Refugees. I've been kind of in the mood for short stories lately, probably because I've been reading so many novels. So I wanted to have at least one short story collection on my September TBR. So I read Viet Thanh Nguyen's novel, Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, The Sympathizer, with Lindsay not that long after it first came out. And it was okay. I didn't love it, but I am curious to read his collection of short stories and see how I like that. I think I've also said this before. I've heard Viet Thanh Nguyen speak twice at MLA conventions now, and he's such an engaging speaker. So I'm curious to see if I'll get on with his short stories better than I did The Sympathizer. So this says it's a collection of stories written over a period of 20 years set in both Vietnam and the United States. It gives voice to the hopes and expectations of people forced to leave one country for another, and the rifts in identity, loyalties, romantic relationships, and family ties that accompany relocation. So that is The Refugees. The next book on my TBR is Love Medicine by Louise Erdrich. I read her book Tracks in June maybe, and anyway, it was over the summer, and whatever month it was that I read it, I absolutely loved it. It was a 5-star read for me, and that made me super excited to read more by Louise Erdrich. And I almost put the last report on the miracles at Little No Horse in place of Love Medicine, because I know Britta just recently read that because she's doing an author spotlight this whole year on Louise Erdrich. And I know she really liked that one, and I remember having read that book not that long after it originally came out and liking it. So I almost put that in its place, but I believe Love Medicine is chronologically next in the Love Medicine series, so I figure, well, I should probably read this one since it takes place not quite so long after the events of Tracks, which I've now already read. So I'm excited to read this. This just says it is the stunning first novel in Louise Erdrich's Native American series Love Medicine. It tells the story of two families, the Cashpaws and the Lamartines, written in Erdrich's uniquely poetic, powerful style. It is a multi-generational portrait of strong men and women caught in an unforgettable drama of anger, desire, and the healing power that is Love Medicine. So I'm excited to get to that one. I'm also in September going to be doing a buddy read with Greg at Supposedly Fun of Gabriel Garcia Marquez's Love in the Time of Cholera. And it's funny because Greg just said this in his latest video, but he said that he had read 100 Years of Solitude a long time ago and really liked that one. And basically I kind of feel the same way. I read 100 Years of Solitude and I really loved it. It probably merits a reread because it's been, gosh, I think I read it in high school or something like that. It's been a really long time anyway. But yeah, so I'm excited to get to this, especially because I know this book is beloved by one of my close friends. So I'm excited to read it. So this says, in their youth, Florentino Ariza and Fermina Daza fall passionately in love. When Fermina eventually chooses to marry a wealthy, well-worn doctor, Florentino is devastated, but he is a romantic. As he rises in his business career, he whiles away the years in 622 affairs. Yet he reserves his heart for Fermina. Her husband dies at last, and Florentino purposefully attends the funeral 51 years, 9 months, and 4 days after he first declared his love for Fermina. He will do so again. So yeah, so that's Love in Time of Cholera. I think we probably won't finish this until October based on our reading schedule, but we'll start reading it and read most of it in September. The last 2 books that are on my September TBR I do not have physical copies of yet because I'm going to have to get those from the library, but they are both book club reads for September. So one of them is The Women of Brewster Place by Gloria Naylor. I think Lindsay from Lindsay's Book Life and I are also going to buddy read this one. Lindsay, let me know if you're still up for that. So this is Gloria Naylor. I'm actually really excited to read because I've never read her before, and if you've been following my channel, you know that one of my areas of research expertise is 20th century African American literature. So it's kind of shocking that I haven't read a book by Gloria Naylor yet. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading this. This book was originally published in, I believe, 1982. And it basically follows 7 women who all live at the title location of Brewster Place, and I guess how their lives intersect with one another. So I pulled up the preview just so I could read you the first paragraph of this. I'm looking down at my laptop here. Brewster Place was the bastard child of several clandestine meetings between the alderman of the 6th District and the managing director of Unico Realty Company. The latter needed to remove the police chief of the 6th District because he was too honest to take bribes, and so had persisted in harassing the gambling houses the director owned. In turn, the alderman wanted the realty company to build their new shopping center on his cousin's property in the northern section of town. They came together, propositioned, bargained, and slowly worked out the consummation of their respective desires. As an afterthought, they agreed to erect 4 double housing units on some worthless land in the badly crowded district. This would help to abate the expected protest from the Irish community over the police chief's dismissal, and since the city would underwrite the costs and the alderman could use the construction to support his bid for mayor in the next election, it would importune neither man. And so, in a damp, smoke-filled room, Brewster Place was conceived. Well, that definitely sets the scene for this being, a dump that's not taken care of at all. So yeah. And then the last book that's on my TBR for the month of September is my virtual book club pick for the book club that's run by Lindsay at Lindsay's Book Club. Oh, I meant to say before, if I didn't say this already, the Women of Brewster Place is the September pick for Robert at Barter Horde's Backlist Book Club. So I'm excited to read that, especially since I didn't get on with Paris Trapped. Yeah, and then my other virtual book club that I'm in is the one that's organized by Lindsay at Lindsay's Book Life. And our pick for September is If I Had Your Face by Frances Cha. And it's funny because the setup of this novel, which is a recent release, it just came out earlier this year, sounds pretty similar to the Women of Brewster Place, because it's about 4, I think, Korean women who all live in the same apartment complex, and about their lives and problems, and I guess there's an intertwining of their lives and problems. So it's just funny that the setup of both of those book club picks are the same, even though it's, you know, different locations, different time periods, etc. So this is the opening of If I Had Your Face. Sujin is hell-bent on becoming a room salon girl. She has invited Kyuri from across the hall to our tiny apartment, and the 3 of us are sitting on the floor in a little triangle, looking out the window over our bar-dotted street. Drunk men in suits stumble by, contemplating where to go for their next round of drinks. It is late, and we are drinking soju in little paper cups. So yeah, sounds kind of similar. Maybe it's not quite as much of a slum as it sounds like Brewster Place and Gloria Naylor's novel is, but it also doesn't exactly sound like that particular apartment location is, you know, in some really nice area of town where everyone has appropriate needs, etc. So yes, that is what is on my September TBR. Let me know what you are looking forward to reading in September down in the comments below. If you have thoughts about any of the books I've mentioned, please let me know that. Also down in the comments below. I hope everyone is staying healthy and well. I hope you're doing good reading, and until next time, would it kill you to call you mother?